back to our main text, 13 to 16 here. So what we've looked at so far and just examining these texts, we've seen how the grace and mercy of the Lord comes upon the sinner who was in darkness. The sinner who was consumed by his sin is now called and told that he is now salt and light because of his association, his following of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. But we also see that when Jesus makes this statement to his disciples, that they're salt and light, he's also pushing the disciples towards the end goal, which is to glorify God. Let me put it in another way. By Jesus giving the disciples this identity, he is indirectly or directly, however you want to look at it, affecting the way that they live their lives. By Jesus giving the disciples this identity, he is directly or indirectly affecting the way that they live their lives. See, a person's actions are affected by who they believe themselves to be. So, for example, let's take a kid. Let's take a child, a first grader, second grader, third grader, whatever. If that first, second, third grader believes that he is stupid, I know it's a wrong word. Our kids are not here. We tell them don't say that word. Oh, okay. We don't say the S word. But if he believes that he's not smart, how about that? Euphemism. If he believes that he's not smart, guess what? If he takes on that identity, it's done. You can give him all the homework you want. I'm not doing it. Why? I'm not smart. I'm going to just act up. I'm act crazy. Why? Because I've just taken on this identity. I believe that I'm not smart. So guess what? Why even try? That's what happens. My wife, I'm sure she could tell you, once they take on this identity, you believe I'm not smart, I'm dumb, I can't do it. It's like, I've taken on this, so why even try? Or you can go with adults. You can get a person who believes that they are nothing. Guess what? Because they believe that they are nothing and have no value, they will do actions that align with that thinking. Promiscuity, drug use. We see people selling their bodies. Why? Because they have already determined in themselves that they're no value, that they are nobody. See, it is that identity identity is so important. It really affects our actions and why we do certain things. And that's why Jesus here is giving these disciples this identity that you are salt and light. We wonder why people in the world do so many things that we just don't get. They don't know God. They don't know whose image that they're made in. So what happens? They go and they get their identity from the culture. They go and get their identity from their environment or society. Why? Because they don't know who they are. They don't know God. So they go and they get an identity from society. And we see what happens. So that's why Jesus said, you are the salt of the earth. Like salt, you must influence disciples. Like salt, you must go into the cultures, in the communities, in the environments, and show another way and show another identity and show a true image. That is what it means to be salt and light. Modeling holiness, going and doing these deeds that bring glory to God. We're showing that it's not the way that you're doing. No, that's not the way. We must go in and influence. See, we don't want to be salt without contact. Salt without contact is, if this was a jar of salt, as long as it stays in this cup or a jar, it has no effect, right? It's without contact. But it has its effect when you get whatever and you begin to pour it on there. That's why as Christians, we can't be salt without contact. We can't just be in holy little huddles and not go in and influence the world. We have to be salt with contact. We can't say the way in this jar.